On today's episode of The Pilgrimage, we're going to talk about the pros and cons and the difficulty to make alcohol stoves. The first we're going to go over is the Super Cat alcohol stove. While this is simple, cheap, and easy to make, it also doesn't need a pot stand. The bad sides of this is inefficient, heavy-walled, and hard to make in the field if something should go wrong. The penny stove, a favorite amongst thru-hikers, is easy to make. However, there are still some things that are wrong with it. First, you need a penny, and I know that doesn't mean much, but having a penny can mean that the stove might not work as efficiently. It's easy to make using generally a thumbtack to make the holes and scissors to add the two cans together. The drawback to something like this is it's hard to fill. You generally have to pour in and wait. I wasn't a fan of this, however, you don't need a pot stand and it is pretty efficient. The aluminum beer can caught my interest. It was something that I could easily fill, let it prime on its own. There was no priming plate, unlike the others that you had to put a priming plate underneath. Has good efficiency and solid construction, but the time that it takes to prime was too long for me. I didn't like waiting to warm up water. What I especially didn't like, because I don't have a lot of tools, is what I needed to make this. I would see pictures of people using lathes to cut it or drill presses to make their holes, and I didn't have these materials, so cutting these cans I would have to use tin snips or something more extreme, and I didn't have those at my fingertips. I did, however, like the construction of the can, and it was very sturdy, and it did fit into my cook system. The one that I like, and I see more often than not, it's not a homemade stove, but it is a trying stove. This one has the qualities that I really do like, and I'm still trying to figure out on my own. With a simmer ring, it really does make cooking a little bit easier. It's not homemade, so you have a guarantee with it. It doesn't fail. None of these stoves actually fail. There's no moving parts. But the reliability is there with this stove. However, it is heavier than all of the ones that I've looked at. It's not easy to make or even a clone of it. However, you don't have to make it, you can simply buy it. The efficiency on it is not very good. With the simmer ring, it does keep things warm, but so can a cozy. I can't see buying an alcohol stove when you can simply make your own. Which leads us to the one that I highly recommend. It's a stove from Tacoma, and you can find how to make it right over here. This is the kind of stove that I use. Mine's a little bit different, but all in all the same. It's a simple build, has great performance, the best performance I've found yet in an alcohol stove, because it relies on capillary action. It's only heating up the alcohol that it needs. There's no priming plate and there's no pot stove. The priming takes only a couple seconds, and once it's bloomed, you can go ahead and put your pot on it. Although it's simple to build, it may be hard to find these cans out in the field if you have something go wrong. However, I've never had my stove be crushed because I keep it inside of my cook system. There is a bit of finesse to make this stove, but there isn't any special tools needed. The only thing that I have purchased separately was a jeweler's drill, and it has a 1/64 bit. You can usually find those at Sears Hardware, and that's where I found mine. It has a long build time, but only for that first couple that you make. I like to make about 5 at a time, because then I don't have to worry about if I crush it, or if it does get damaged, I can grab another one. For thru-hikers, you can keep it in your balance box or have it on the ready for a mail drop. With that out of the way, let's talk about some fuel. All of these alcohol stoves can run on regular isopropyl alcohol, but I don't recommend it. There's a amount of water that I found gets condensed into each of those isopropyl alcohols, and using something like denatured alcohol or heat, that's HEET, that you can find in the gas station, is a better, more efficient burn. I found with the Tacoba CHS stove that it will burn better with denatured alcohol, but just minimally. Heat does a great job as well, and it comes in a reliable container that has a locking lid. You won't have to repackage heat either. There's about 12 ounces in each bottle, and about an ounce of fuel is needed for each burn. That'll give you 12 meals. However, I found that if you're making and just warming up water for instant coffee, you can get away with about 1/4 of an ounce to heat up 2 cups of water. Remember, all alcohol stoves are finicky. They don't like the wind, so having some sort of wind deflector is a necessity. Thanks for tuning into The Pilgrimage, and if you got something out of this episode, please comment, share, or subscribe. And again, thanks for watching.